was properly upset, I thought, and I was getting my stuff together and walked out in the hallway, and he looked at me and he slapped me as hard as he could.
Meryl Streep, the queen of Hollywood, but also its most dangerous perfectionist. Behind the Oscars and standing ovations are explosive feuds no one dares to mention. On Kramer vs. Kramer, Dustin Hoffman blindsided her with humiliating stunts. With Kevin Kline, she clashed over her obsessive Holocaust research. Jack Nicholson, she refused to work with him at all. And Gwyneth Paltrow, Streep saw her Oscar win as a joke. Every chapter of her career hides a battle, and what you'll hear today will change how you see Meryl Streep forever. Before the feuds, before the scandals, there was the myth of Meryl Streep. She wasn't just an actress, she was a machine. Every accent studied, every gesture calculated. She could transform into anyone, and critics called it genius. But listen to this. Her genius came with a price. Her obsession with authenticity was so intense that actors who couldn't keep up were left exposed. Meryl prepared like a surgeon, scripts marked with notes, hours of research. Every scene had to be flawless. And if you weren't as prepared as her, she noticed, and she didn't forgive. That's why Hollywood called her the gold standard. But behind the praise, a darker truth was brewing. Her perfectionism wasn't just admired, it was feared. And the first to learn that the hard way was Dustin Hoffman. On screen, they looked perfect. A heartbreaking couple in one of Hollywood's greatest dramas. But off-screen, it was war. Dustin Hoffman was known for chaos. He loved improvisation, surprises, even pushing his co-stars to the limit. But with Meryl Streep, that turned into something darker. He would throw lines at her without warning. He once slapped her during rehearsal without telling her first. He broke her concentration. He humiliated her in front of the crew. But here's the twist. Meryl didn't back down. She fought fire with fire, channeling the pain into her performance. The result? She won her first Oscar. And Hoffman? He walked away with a reputation for tormenting her. What the audience saw as chemistry was really two actors locked in a silent battle for control. And after Kramer vs. Kramer, Meryl made a promise. She would never work with Dustin Hoffman again. But that wasn't the end, because her next clash would cut even deeper. With Kevin Kline. Sophie's choice should have been a masterpiece of unity. Two brilliant actors, one devastating story. But instead, it became another battlefield. Meryl spent months preparing. She studied Holocaust survivor psychology. She mastered Polish accents down to every syllable. Every detail mattered to her. Kevin Kline, he was different. He trusted instinct, improvised, went with the moment. To Meryl, that wasn't art, that was laziness. It gets crazier. Kline even questioned her accent work. He suggested it was too much, that she was hiding behind technique. To Meryl, that wasn't just an insult. It was a betrayal of the history she was honoring. Crew members said rehearsals felt like silent duels, her precision against his spontaneity. And when the cameras stopped rolling, the distance stayed. The movie earned her another Oscar. But her partnership with Kevin Kline, destroyed. And if that clash seemed bad, her next one would pit her against Hollywood's ultimate rebel, Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson was Hollywood's bad boy. The grin, the charm, the wild energy. Directors wanted him and Meryl together. It could have been box office gold. But here's the shocking truth. Meryl Streep refused. Why? Because to her, Jack wasn't acting. He was just playing Jack Nicholson. Charisma over craft. Ego over authenticity. And Jack didn't stay quiet. He mocked method acting, called it intellectual nonsense. To Meryl, those words were a direct attack on everything she lived for. Their encounters at industry events, frosty smiles, sharp words. Everyone could feel the tension. Producers tried for years to put them side by side, but Meryl made sure it never happened. Her message was clear. She would rather walk away from a blockbuster than share the screen with Jack Nicholson. But that wasn't the end of her battles, because the next feud would explode in front of an entire crew with Alec Baldwin. On paper, its complicated looked like a dream team. Meryl Streep, Alec Baldwin, romantic comedy magic. But behind the scenes, it was anything but funny. Meryl approached comedy like she did drama. Every laugh had to come from truth. Every scene carefully crafted. No wasted motion, no wasted words. Alec Baldwin? Total opposite. He thrived on improvisation, changed lines on the spot, threw in physical gags just to get a laugh. At first it seemed harmless, but then it got worse. He would derail entire scenes, forcing Meryl to reset her emotional rhythm. Crew members noticed her frustration. She even requested more rehearsal time just to repair the damage. One insider put it perfectly. Meryl operated like a surgeon. Alec treated every scene like stand-up. And though the film was a hit, the tension was impossible to hide on set. Their styles never clicked. But listen to this. Her next feud would be even colder, even sharper, with the aristocratic Jeremy Irons. When Jeremy Irons and Meryl Streep were paired, Hollywood expected brilliance. Two classically trained actors, two towering talents. But instead of harmony, they collided. Irons treated acting like elegance, the voice, the posture, the polish. For him, characters were performances to be displayed. Meryl saw that as hollow. To her, acting meant digging into the soul, research, psychology, emotional excavation, truth above everything. It gets worse. Irons criticized her accent work. He said it was showing off. To Meryl, that wasn't just critique. It was an insult to her entire method. Their rehearsals turned icy. Conversations became formal, cold, clipped. On set, the respect was gone, replaced by quiet contempt. Their feud never exploded in public, but the silence spoke louder than words. And if battles with legends like Irons were intense, her most shocking clash would come with a younger star, one who symbolized everything Meryl despised. Her name, Gwyneth Paltrow. Meryl Streep was the embodiment of craft. Years of study, painstaking detail, total transformation. But then came Gwyneth Paltrow, Hollywood's golden child, connected, charismatic, effortlessly charming. To many, she was the future of stardom. To Meryl, she was the end of everything acting was supposed to be. Whispers spread that Streep saw Gwyneth as the symbol of celebrity over craft, that she won roles not through preparation, but through connections. And then came the Oscars. Gwyneth wins Best Actress for Shakespeare in Love. But that same year, Meryl gave what critics called one of her most powerful performances. To her, the win wasn't talent triumphing. It was marketing beating art. After that, Meryl made her position clear. She never praised Gwyneth's work. She strategically ignored her in interviews. Instead, she spotlighted other young actresses she considered worthy. The message was brutal. In Meryl's eyes, Gwyneth Paltrow wasn't just overrated. She was an insult to the craft itself. But here's the bigger question. Did these feuds make Meryl Streep a villain, or simply the last defender of real acting in a Hollywood obsessed with fame? Meryl Streep is worshipped as the greatest actress of her time. But behind the gold statues and standing ovations is a woman who left behind a battlefield of rivals, enemies, and broken partnerships. Dustin Hoffman, Kevin Kline, Jack Nicholson, Alec Baldwin, Jeremy Irons, Gwyneth Paltrow. Each one clashed with her. Each one walked away scarred. To some, she's impossible, ruthless, intolerant. To others, she's the last true artist in an industry drowning in ego and shortcuts. And maybe that's the price of greatness, because legends aren't loved by everyone. They're remembered for the fire they bring and the bridges they burn. So I'll ask you, is Meryl Streep Hollywood's greatest genius, or its most dangerous perfectionist? Tell me what you think in the comments, and if you want more untold Hollywood stories, make sure to subscribe.